up and wrapped in plastic, zipped up in bags. When it happens, that's it. I've seen them come, I've watched them go, watched them rise, witnessed it and watched them blow. Watch them all blossom and watch them grow. Watch the lawsuits when they lost their dough.
Okay, you can introduce the podcast now.
Hello. Welcome to episode 2 of Who Watches Watching the Detectives, a podcast which once again is unlike any other on the internet, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Don't listen to them.
I am once again your host, Eleanor, joined today, as well as every other day, with my 2 co-hosts, Grace.
Yep.
And Summer.
That's me.
All right.
I was gonna say, is this like a roll call?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm
present.
We've already introduced everybody. I've given everybody
here.
Grace is our resident Killian expert. Summer is our mandatory white male podcast host, and we're gonna jump right the fuck into it this time instead of procrastinating like we did last time.
We did not procrastinate. I think last time was important to establish.
It took us 3 minutes to establish what the podcast was.
Oh my god.
The first 3 minutes. Nobody knew what the podcast was about.
Well, this podcast is about the 3 of us, and we're talking about the 2007 movie, Watching the Detectives. That's right, we watched it. We solved the question. You can turn it off now. Don't turn it off, please.
Don't turn it off.
Why would you tell them to turn it off?
Again, how was everybody's second viewing? I think we should just get that out right out of the gate. Did everybody enjoy the movie the second time?
It was actually better. I gave it a 4 stars this time, and last week I gave it a 3.5.
I did the exact same. I gave it 4 instead of 3. I really enjoyed this viewing.
I think I've been at a solid 5 since day 1.
You can't go up any higher.
I think that what happened was last week was like the first one, so it's like getting over the hump, you know?
Right.
Because last week was kind of like pulling teeth. I was also in a terrible mood last week. No, I thought it was great this week. I had a wonderful time.
I had a great time. I thought this movie was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
Last week, I was talking about how I thought it was actually visually not appealing at all. And you had said that you thought it was a really good-looking movie, and I agree.
It's a great-looking movie.
It looks nice.
The soundtrack is okay. It's okay. It's nothing special.
That was something I actually talked about this time. The only, song that played that I liked was the song in the crying montage. Everything else,
a great
the soundtrack,
song.
I'm like...
I like the songs.
Yeah.
I think the soundtrack outside of, the needle drop moments is kind of basic and boring, but it does the job. I like the xylophone stabs when mystery is happening, stuff like that.
The sound effects I find are really fun, but I find I don't really pay attention to the soundtrack that much. I kind of tune it out.
It's all diegetic. It's all part of Tulpa theory.
That's what I'm saying. So did anybody? I didn't want to touch on, but you mentioned it. So you've opened up you've opened the floodgates.
Pandora's box
Yes.
of Tulpa theory.
Does anybody have any opinions on Tulpa theory before I have my little statement?
Yes.
Oh,
I have something very important to say.
Is it about the waiter?
Yes.
Yes. Baldy number 1 is the fucking waiter.
Oh my god, wait!
There are two
crazy.
Baldies that show up before Lucy Liu implants the concept of bald Polish men. The first is in the first 3 minutes of the movie. He's the waiter. The second, I don't think he's Polish. I don't even know. I can't tell. He's in kind of in shadow. There's a bartender in the scene where Neil sees Lucy Liu feeding the beer to the keyboardist in the band scene. There's a waiter in the background.
This is fucking crazy.
He's bald, but I don't think he's white. I can't really tell. It's dark. So.
Yeah, I have it. Waiter is bald, and I have it underlined twice because it's really important.
It's as if the directors of the film put him there to drive us off the scent of Tulpa theory. I wasn't going to take a lot of notes, and then I had to. Lucian is the only one excited for She-Gorilla.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's my favorite.
And also, he pulls. He gets so many bitches.
He is drowning in pussy.
He is. You're going to have to watch it, episode 3, Grace.
Okay, hold on.
Every time Lucian interacts with somebody other than Neil, they're so clearly interested. There's a scene in the first 3 minutes where he's talking to 3 different people and they are all enraptured in what he's saying. He pulls.
Yes, he says the commercial is clearly a ripoff of Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Oh, and he's surrounded by people and they're like, yeah.
They want him so bad. And let me just say, I don't blame him.
Oh hold on. I'm gonna take a step back for that one. I'm not gonna touch that one with a 10-foot pole.
One of my goals for my second viewing was I wanted to try and see like the addresses of the places because I know I could just Google where the filming locations were, but
Right.
I thought it would be more interesting to try and find it through the movie. I forgot that it says the address to the store in the first 2 minutes because it's in the commercial.
In the commercial, yeah.
Did I talk last week about the logo in the commercial?
No.
I
You
wrote
absolutely
it
did
down,
not.
but I don't think I didn't talk about it. So the commercial at the very end, it has like the screen where it's like Gumshoe Video located here. The Gumshoe Video logo is a PNG, but they forgot to remove the background on it. So it's on a white background
Oh my God.
on a black screen. And I know that that's not a production mistake.
No, Neil did that. I'd also like to, before the episode starts, I'd like to issue a more formal apology to Jason Sudeikis. I'm so
Whoa.
sorry that I thought you were Zachary Levi.
Yeah, I think you should be.
I am really face blind, and they're both white guys with beards.
He's clean shaven in this movie.
Jason Sudeikis doesn't have, yeah. And I don't think Zachary Levi traditionally has a beard either.
He has a beard in this picture I pulled up of him on Google, so I would remember to say this.
You're just sitting at your desk staring at a picture of Zachary Levi.
Yes, and actually, he's looking directly forward into the camera, staring right into my eyes, and it's really unsettling.
That's awful. Speaking of actors, did you guys know that Josh Gad is in this movie?
He
Is he?
is?
Yeah, he's credited.
Where? What role?
I literally do not know. His name is Mark.
Okay. I don't know Mark.
I don't know a single Mark.
I really don't know.
No.
I just watched them. I literally just watched the movie and I don't remember a Mark.
This is my 9th. Oh my god, next time is 10. That's awful.
I tried to keep track of every name. So the name of the couple who have the baby is Marsha and Buddy, and they have a kid named Emerson.
By the way, did not catch the baby's name.
And we have Glenn,
Is that Andy and Glenn?
Andy and Glenn. Yes, of course.
Well, there's Lucian, but does the other friend ever get named?
I think so. Yes.
I think he has a credit. Like, he's got to be credited with a name. It's Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Okay, then I don't.
No, I definitely don't remember them saying it.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I was watching the movie and I was scrolling through the letterbox and I was just reading like name by name and I'm like, I want to put a face to a name, like a real name. And I scrolled all the way down to the bottom and it said Josh Gad. And I said, huh?
He's gotta be way in the background because I would recognize Josh Gad.
Yeah, no idea. I wonder if he's cut maybe or
Maybe.
something.
Maybe, yeah.
Something I thought really early on. I don't have like timestamps for a lot of these. I don't think that Gumshoe Video is like a safe space.
Why do you say that?
As much as I want to go there, just the way that they are, I like. It reminds me of going to like a card store.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like
a game
it's like
store.
the card store of video stores.
The scene where they chase poor Steve from Wyoming off.
Gay Steve.
Gay Steve
Yeah,
from Wyoming.
Gay Steve.
You picked him up this time? You saw him?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I knew Gay Steve the whole time. I just didn't know what we were talking about because I like did not process.
So Lucian gives him a kind of an odd look, like when he holds hands with what I assume to be his husband. He gives him like kind of a weird look, and I'm like, oh, is Lucian homophobic? And then he turns to Neil, and he's like, this is why we don't have more customers.
Because Neil's homophobic.
Because Neil's homophobic, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
this
Was
is,
gay marriage legal in America in 2007?
No, not for a while.
So go Lucian, I guess?
Well, Lucian's gay.
He's woke. Lucian is dark woke,
Wait,
and I will not
where do we
elaborate.
get Lucian is gay from? Because 5 minutes ago we were just saying that he
Because
polls.
look at him.
First off, look at
I
him.
mean, this is true.
I think it's also that they're all rampant misogynists.
Yeah,
This is, yeah.
that doesn't help.
And that's exactly, it's the card store of movie stores.
So last episode, I said that Neil stands around awkwardly for 99% of the runtime.
Yeah.
I am mistaken. 99% of the runtime is him laughing nervously.
I buy that more.
He can multitask. He can laugh nervously and stand awkwardly.
You're right, but I think he laughs nervously more than he stands awkwardly. I like that Neil's store, our Gumshoe, rents VHSs and Media Giant rents DVDs. It really shows how disconnected.
I think Gumshoe,
No. It's
does have DVDs though.
I didn't see them
There are cases on the shelf.
every time. It's a big box of VHS.
I see skinny I think the like shelves along the sides are all tape, but I think the racks are
But we never see anybody rent a DVD. It's always VHS.
I'm like trying to think back because I was a rampant video renter. But no, you're so right.
I gave myself a little pet project this episode, and I can finally reveal it to my co-hosts. I've been a little bit cagey about it today.
A little bit.
Well, you're the one who's incredibly suspicious. Like, I think you need to
I'm scared.
perhaps calm yourself, take some deep breaths.
After Tulpa Theory, I'm on
Grace has
edge.
been traumatized by Tulpa Theory.
If my co-hosts want to go to the lists section of my letterbox, I will explain for the viewers. I have made a list including timestamps of every movie
Oh, I'm actually so excited. Wait.
named in the movie.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I wanted to do this. I was so excited.
Films mentioned in
Wait.
Watching the Detectives.
Shut the fuck up right now.
This rules. City of Lost Children, Delicatessen,
Is this-
Casino, Goodfellas, Fledge. Yep.
Oh, you gotta do all the ones in the background though.
No way.
There's 500.
Grace,
the
Grace,
walls are
half of the
plastered with
scenes,
posters.
half of the scenes in the movie take place in front of rows and rows and shelves of movies.
The only reason is like literally the first shot of the movie, there's a Phantom of the Paradise poster. And I just want to watch Phantom of the Paradise again.
And the movie that they have their midnight viewing of, She-Gorilla, that is not a real movie. I looked it up. I couldn't find anything about it, but it does seem to be a reference to 1949's Mighty Joe Young, in which a woman raises a gorilla
That's awesome.
and then brings him to Hollywood.
I like that you did research.
4.5, there's a tape on the VHS player in front of the TV. I blinked and I didn't get to read what it was, but there's a title on the spine.
All right, so you're gonna have to go back and tell us.
Because that's so funny that you did this, because I saw the spine of that tape and I was like, I wonder like if we could watch all the movies that are in here.
Although not mentioned, the plot is described.
That's the movie that they're guessing when the tape is stopped at,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
before
yeah.
dawn.
That's crazy, because they don't say the name of it, do they?
No, but they named several characters, and so I looked it up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you went in.
No, this rules. Thank you.
That's why
Summer.
it took me so long.
I was trying to figure. I kept like waiting for your review to roll in, and I was like, "Geez, like, you must be really like taking your time."
Well, I ran out of time before class, and so I had an hour and a half of statistics, and then I had to finish the last 15 minutes on the bus home.
We're dedicated. I don't ever want to hear anyone say that we're not dedicated.
Absolutely.
I don't know how many of my notes will be legible because I think 4 of the pages were written while on the bus, and it was quite bumpy.
You're taking the lead, so lead us through this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I decided I want to have my own theory because I got jealous of Tulpa Theory.
Why would you ever be jealous of
My new pet theory is polycule theory, which is where all of Neil's friends want him to join their polycule.
I think this is a good theory. I think there's meat on these bones.
I really feel like his couple friends are flirting with him.
I think that they just want him to babysit their baby.
The issue is, I think the couple is his only real friends, and everyone else is like work acquaintances.
Yeah, I don't think Lucian likes him.
No.
I want to know how they all met.
Maybe at one time Lucian liked him, but I think Lucian is so sick of Neil's shit at this point.
Absolutely.
Like Lucian and Jonathan,
They're tight.
they're gay. They fuck.
I'm glad you finally were brave enough to say it.
Somebody had to.
Somebody had to.
Me in the future. Pull up the piss clip.
Sure thing, old buddy, old pal.
What are you waiting for? You want to
Yeah.
piss on my foot? Be my guest.
That is
God,
pretty
I-
gay, I can't deny.
What is up with and then
Sure. Yeah.
All right, thank you, me.
You're welcome.
and then I noticed again. I think I noticed this the first time I watched it. Either Lucian or Jonathan has a shirt with a little frog with like a text bubble that says, "I'm so happy I could shit."
We talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I could just shit.
Again, I don't know if Neil's like so distracted by the conversation he's having with the customer, but he's just like, yeah.
He's like, whatever, just don't do it in the store.
I think we talked about this briefly. His ex-girlfriend's so fucking
So
funny.
fucking funny.
I love Denise.
I want a spin-off I want a Denise spinoff.
I love the interaction with Denise and Chad later on.
It's so strange.
He's like, oh, you're the
He calls him like a pervert.
yeah. Sounds like
He's
a
like, "You're
perv to me. And then Neil's like, yeah, that's cool. So you were just creeping in the bushes like some kind of peeping Tom?
I thought he says you were just jacking off in the bushes like some kind of peeping Tom.
He might have. I was listen.
You've paraphrased.
What am I gonna? I'm gonna pause the movie to write down a quote.
I don't know.
Yes, that's what I did. That's why it took me 3 hours to watch a 90-minute movie.
I listen. I was finishing the movie as Grace got home to record, so I had no time. I literally finished editing episode 1 9 hours before I watched the movie for episode 2, and I did sleep immediately after finishing editing. So
It's been a really watching the detectives day for you.
yes, which is why I think I liked it so much. The neurons in my brain have been fried and reconstituted in a simulacrum of watching the detectives.
Oh, I had an idea.
Okay.
I had an idea for the pod.
Okay.
What if we all had a favorite line? I think we might have mentioned this briefly, or like Summer, you said that every review is going to be like your favorite quote from that viewing. We should share our favorite quotes
Well, you
as a little
you
icebreaker.
haven't seen episode 1, but we do that.
I haven't watched it. I'm sorry.
We can do it again.
There's a lot of quotes.
There's a lot of quotes.
We should, because there's a lot. Because I have one written down. Jerry Lewis is gonna make a salad.
Yes, I wrote that down. I wrote that down too. And he's so excited. He's so
Jerry
excited.
Lewis is gonna make a salad.
He's so
excited.
Jerry Lewis is gonna make a salad.
And Neil's like having a breakdown. He's just yelled at this man in a movie
Called
theater.
him a Polish slur.
Called him a slur.
Said he was gonna shit down his neck.
Yeah. Shit on his throat. Crazy interaction with this man. And he turns to his friend for emotional support backup. And Lucy just goes, Jerry Lewis is gonna make a salad. Which is like when you are watching someone cry and you like don't know how to respond.
You have to let's change the subject.
I think I'm gonna start doing that.
That rules.
He's
my
trying
real
to
life.
de-escalate before Neil becomes physically violent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which he gets close.
He gets really close.
Way earlier, when he goes out to stalk Lucy Liu, he asks Jonathan and Lucian if they can watch the store. And
Yeah.
Jonathan says, "Can we order a pizza?" Neil says,
No.
and then Jonathan is like, "Then yes, I will watch," which
I will watch.
is so funny.
It's so good. I have 2 quotes just from the beginning in the scene with Denise, but also as he's walking up to her table, he high fives the waiter as he's
Crazy. Crazy.
Then when he's breaking up with her, she's like, "What? Next you're gonna say it's not you, it's me." And he says, No, it's definitely you.
It's definitely you.
But Denise says, "You can't go along with someone who's going nowhere." And I really like that line. Great job, Denise.
Denise rules.
I love Denise.
A tiny aside, as it's panning in on the store at 7:44, the commercial said the address was 115 Lowell between 7th and 8th, but the building next to them has the number 1035.
You got a deal on the address.
So
That's a discount address.
I don't know how big Gumshoe Videos is that it takes up 900 numbers.
Huge.
They got a lot of movies, man.
There's also, when they're playing basketball, there's a sign that says parking for Gumshoe
Shoe
only,
only,
but
yep.
it's on the building next to them. It's not on their building. So does Neil own that building too, or did he have a sign put up on someone else's store?
I think the latter, and it's like you can't park here. But it's like it's on a door that's blocked by a dumpster.
I like to think that Neil owns a lot of other.
He's got like a sandwich shop.
Yeah. When Neil and the baby couple follow Lucy Liu, she does like an ominous slow turn to look back at them. Neil like freaks out, and so the 3 of them hide behind an SUV, leaving the baby in the stroller just out in the open. And Lucy Liu's like, huh.
Because there's now an unaccompanied
Just
baby.
a random baby. Yeah, like I think it's so funny that they're just like, yeah, leave the baby.
when Jason Sudeikis' character is listing the shitty bands that play at his terrible bar, I would love to listen to both Shit and Bricks and Trojan Horse.
I would pay big money to see Trojan Horse perform.
It sounds fantastic. I do not want to see Tard.
No, the bands mentioned later on the names are much worse. They burned their good names in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
I don't want to contribute to Tulpa Theory, but I did notice the bit that you pointed out in episode 1 where there's a scene transition and Neil is whistling along to the soundtrack
He does that twice.
of the movie.
He does that twice.
It is not happening in real life. It is exclusively.
There's no music.
Like-
There's no diegetic music. He is whistling along to the non-diegetic soundtrack. Tulpa Theory is real, you guys. You hate me, but the truth is, Tulpa Theory is real.
We can't name this episode Tulpa Theory again. We have to talk about something else.
Tulpa Theory 2.
I don't think this supports Tulpa Theory as much as it supports CIA theory, in that Lucy Liu is seeking him out because of his latent psychic abilities.
But well, see, that ties into Tulpa Theory. Like, Tulpa Theory, I think it's a great name, but it doesn't really accurately describe the science behind Tulpa Theory. Because...
But you did, explicitly state in the beginning of Tulpa Theory that Lucy Liu is a tulpa and she's not real.
She is, well, nobody's real. That's the thing, right? The whole movie exists because of Neil. And so he creates Lucy Liu. First off, let me just say, because I have to go back.
Check out this entrance.
Lucy Liu appears. What's on the screen? The introduction of a very beautiful woman.
Belonging to the dame that was 2 steps ahead of you the whole time.
In a movie, Neil sees this, is jealous, creates Lucy Liu. She enters the movie. And again, and I have to reiterate, because Tulpa Theory is real. Every time Neil gets jealous or lonely, who arrives but Lucy Liu? The basketball just rolls in at the end of the movie. He's about to kill himself. There's Lucy Liu. I'm sorry you hate me, but Tulpa Theory is real. That's all I'll say.
Do you ever stop to think that maybe these instances when she shows up are the CIA implant she installed in his brain?
No, you
and not in fact Tulpa Theory?
You hate me, okay?
Do you know what this is?
What?
Tulpa Theory versus CIA theory is Korean smut films or what is it?
Japanese
Korean
deathmatch
smut.
anime versus Korean smut films.
Snuff
Films, not yet.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
once again,
No, I said smut and then I was like, no, it is snuff.
just like Tulpa Theory, you implanted smut in my head, and there it came,
I implanted smut in your head.
and then it arrived.
At some point in one of my watches, probably not next week, but who knows, I would love to get screen grabs of all Lucy Liu's outfits and put together a tier list, because she has so many
This is
fantastic
So
looks.
many outfits.
a wonderful segue for something that I wrote down.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say fuck you to whoever invented the V-neck t-shirt. I think that you should be I'm not gonna get violent. It's a new year. I'm not choosing violence.
No, you're new, me.
I just think we should have a conversation. A really polite conversation about the V-neck t-shirt.
Well, if you're talking about the V-neck that she wore, it's,
No, Lucy Liu's fine.
she has the deepest V-neck. It's like, first off, it's like a U-neck, and it
That's
goes down
not fine.
to halfway down her like chest.
Like it's kind of cunty, but on the other hand, like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Number 2. So number 1, fuck you, male V-neck t-shirts. Number 2, everybody in this movie just has shit on.
Mm-hmm.
They're wearing clothes. You know what?
Say what you will about this movie.
God damn, they are.
They're wearing clothes.
They're wearing like I'm so happy I could shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is what therapy's done for me.
Great shirt.
It boggles it's astounding.
Grace, when are you making us matching I'm so happy I could shit shirts?
Immediately, right now as we speak.
Thank you.
I'm calling my guy.
Most of my notes this episode are about the baby couple, Marsha and Buddy and Emerson. Marsha is the most positive, bubbly person I've ever seen. She is a ray of sunshine. Everything she says is like the most positive, optimistic. She finds out that Neil was stalking a woman. Is like, when can we meet her?
I do, yeah.
I love the park scene. I love they're pulling up to the park to meet Violet, and the camera is framed on Lucy Liu as they pull up like she's a slasher villain.
Oh, it's awesome.
And the
it's
horror
so awesome.
movie
That's
music.
I know.
I think ripped straight out of Halloween.
yeah, it rules.
Like it's so awesome.
Fantastic.
And then when she opens the picnic, she's like, "Let's see what we got." And I wish I could say I made this, which is like malicious compliance. Like
Yeah.
she's telling them the truth.
You would think, with all the times I've seen this movie, and especially the recency, that I would remember the sequencing of this movie.
Right.
I don't.
You don't.
Well, that's why the timestamps are so important because you're
I'm gonna start timestamping.
you're once again jumping ahead. I have some
I know.
notes from the breaking in of the video store.
Yes, of course. The first date.
They're messing up the DVDs, and you both mentioned noticing the line for the first time. Don't call me Bambi.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's a good
she
one.
doesn't. She didn't call him Bambi. She said, "Oh, Bambi, give me a dirty movie."
Yeah.
Cause the case. She's opening the case to the movie
Yeah.
Bambi.
Well, that's the joke. It's like, you know.
Don't call me Shirley.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he starts asking her about herself, the police arrive. This is clearly because Lucy Liu has an earpiece in and the backup is arriving.
They're ready to take him down.
Because of CIA theory.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything. Episode 3 will be the return of Tulpa Theory, and I'll address all these comments.
Voice your support for either CIA theory or Tulpa theory.
Oh,
Sound off.
after their date, and we have the basketball scene, Lucy Liu, she's dribbling the basketball with her elbow and shit, which rules.
It's more basketball skill than Neil has shown.
This is true.
And as she dunk slams, I had to go back and listen to it because the subtitles say that she's cheering God's will, God's will. But it's Cubs
God's will
win.
is crazy.
God's will, God's will. Was that on
There's no
YouTube?
fucking way she said that. Yeah.
Yeah. The YouTube subtitles are like automatically generated.
I was like so excited to watch it because I have this on DVD. And I was like, oh boy, like I'm gonna whip out my DVD and like watch this the way that God intended. Can't find it. It's gone. I don't know what happened to
It's
it.
gone.
I think someone broke in and stole it, and I was so upset.
Your most
God's
prized
will.
possession.
God's will.
God's
No,
will.
my most
God's
prized
will.
possession is my Korean Disco Pigs bootleg, which is also conveniently missing.
Oh God.
I got like a lost dog poster. Missing 2 holy grails.
As they walk around, they just walk in the middle of the road and it pisses me off.
That's a beautiful
This comment
day,
isn't
though.
leading anywhere. It just makes me mad.
That made me like I can't beat the I am Neil rumors because this movie makes me so nostalgic because we used to just walk around and ride our bikes in the middle of the street.
No, it really
As a
is.
kid.
I was like, I was in this movie. Like
Yeah.
something about editing the
stores.
podcast, sleeping for 9 hours, waking up, and immediately watching it.
That's crazy.
I was.
You need a break.
I was in it, man. I was there. I was I felt Neil's nervous anxiety. I felt Lucy Liu's manic energy. I felt
don't wanna feel any of
Lucian's unmitigated, unstoppable charisma.
Not what I thought you were gonna say.
His raw sex appeal.
You're in the Killian Myers.
I was lost in the fucking Killian Myers.
I'm scared.
Killian Myers Murphy.
We gotta get you out of there. I'm calling a tow truck. We're gonna yank you out.
In the interrogation scene, and I have less notes per scene just because we went over a lot in the first episode, but I am noticing more like background details. He has a hawk taxidermy in his office just sitting on his desk.
No, his office is unhinged.
It's holding some kind of sign. I can't
didn't-
read what the sign says. It looks like it says K of M. I don't know what that means. But then there's another scene later in the movie where you get another view of his office, and it looks like the sign it's holding is shaped like an iron cross.
Yes, I did see that. I was like, what the fuck is that?
I don't know what that's about, but he's got his Nazi hawk, his Hawksy, if you will.
It's a sequel to Hawk 2.
And I love the parallel of the scene earlier in the movie where Neil is crying behind the door, and he makes the baby cry, and then he's laughing. And then there's a parallel of Lucy laughing after the fake detective scene, and her silhouette is in the door. Mm-hmm. And it was visually striking.
The biggest takeaway I had with this watch through is this is a good movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a nice movie.
Grace refuses to budge an inch on Tulpa Theory or this is a good movie.
Grace, you gave it 5 stars
What do you want from
9
me?
times.
You're like, it's okay, it's all right.
I had to have gone down once. There's
Future editor, can you pull up a picture of Grace's letterbox real quick?
logs.
I want to see a list of Grace's,
Oh, no, February 16th, 2024, which is crazy. 3.5. February 17th, 2024, 4. And then February 20th, 2024 is 5.
So the first
That's
time
insane.
you watched it, you refused to give it 5 stars.
Yeah.
Just like every movie you watch and like.
Well, true. That was also not a great time. So I feel like I get a little bit of grace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, eponymously.
Fuck you.
Another note to polycule theory.
Mm-hmm.
When the couple friends see Neil stalking Violet, I keep calling her Lucy Liu, but I'm calling Neil, so I'm gonna try and say Violet.
Double standards.
The couple, Buddy and Marcia.
I just feel like I'm not that close with Buddy and Marcia. I mean, I'm not really on a first name basis. Marcia calls Neil cutie, and they play along instantly with his stalking antics. They're so clearly in love with
They're
him.
so into it. I think this is the second time we've talked about the stalking, but I didn't get to talk about it the first time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Does Lucy Liu know that he's going to be stalking her?
I think she does. Because that's why she does like the ominous slow turn to let him hide.
Yeah. Like she knows. Let me find my notes on this.
Well, she says she can feel when he's watching her because she gets like a tingle on the back of her neck.
It's her CIA implant.
Of course, that's where they put the chip.
And also, he's so quick to follow her. Has he done this before?
But he's so bad at it.
This is true.
I wouldn't put it past him. I love the scene where she ominously turns around. We see them hide behind the SUV. We get a cut back to Lucy Liu looking over, and we just see the baby stroller. We hear the baby. We hear the baby in the stroller just next to the SUV sitting there.
I would love if the stroller just started like rolling.
Ghostbusters 2.
They moved so fast that the stroller's just on its own.
There are several instances of Lucy Liu and her home just being fire hazards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really concerning to me. She has so many unsupervised candles in her home.
No, I rock with it. I'm team candles.
The TV aquarium feels so hazardous to me.
I don't want to get on like fish owner TikTok. I would have a fish TV. If I didn't own one, I want a Yule log style, like 12-hour loop of that fish tank. I just want to watch it. I want to have it up.
Isn't a Yule
somewhere.
log a dessert?
I think also yes. But no, like a Yule log, like a fireplace
She
video.
also has remote controlled ceiling lights, which I think are just so cool. Her house is awesome.
Her house rules.
She keeps the remote control in her bag.
Of course she does.
She put it back in her bag when
Her
she turned
bag.
the lights off.
I love her bag. She has so much
Mary
shit in her
Poppins
bag.
ass bag.
Yeah, Mary Poppins ass bag.
I mean, that remote control is clearly her CIA issued everything remote that controls everything.
Of course.
Of course.
There is yet another instance of a fire hazard shortly after where she has a lamp and it just kind of has a sheet draped over it to give it a warm glow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
No promises.
What?
Sometimes
I
my
almost burned my house down doing that.
sometimes my it's too bright in my room with one light on, so I put a sock over the light bulb.
A sock right over the light bulb?
It's an LED light bulb. It's not gonna get hot.
Yeah, you're fine.
I guess. But in 2007, her ass was not using LED light bulb.
Absolutely not. That's a fucking 120 watt fucking
Ugh.
incandescent lamp.
That thing is 60 degrees.
Centigrade.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Important note. This co-host is Canadian. The other co-hosts are
Yeah,
American.
two Americans and a Canadian.
I wish you could see the look on my face when you said 60 degrees, because I was like, that's not hot enough for a light bulb.
Like what kind of
like, wait.
cold fusion ass light bulb
Yeah.
have they created?
Alternate 2007 where everything's the same. They just have
It's like
like
cold fusion.
fusion.
That's why he can afford to keep the fucking
Yeah.
VHS store open.
2007? Guess I had tapes still,
Yeah, no, tapes were definitely around. I was
but not as.
I was renting them from the library in 2007.
I wasn't renting them, but I would have had
I
a VHS
owned-
player still.
Yeah, I owned.
Shout out
tapes.
to Magic School Bus. My next note skips all the way over to her being allergic to boredom. So if you want to get us caught up to there,
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of my notes are just one line.
mhm.
He spills beer on the cats. What an asshole.
What an asshole! All over the old lady's house and carpet.
There's a clip where there's a cat on Lucy Lou's lap, and then she stands up and the cat is gone. And I know it's just like an editing thing, but I think it's really funny that it
no.
blipped out of existence.
I think that this could be Tulpa evidence.
And right before the graveyard scene, he's like, I just want to watch basketball. Stop being screwy and weird.
Yeah.
Those are his exact words. He calls her screwy and weird.
It's just the same thing in the fucking graveyard. I talked about this
And-
last episode.
If I was her, that's it. That's it for me.
like-
I'm out.
It's like I love you, but you're so weird. Could you stop being so weird?
I would die.
Also, do you want to have sex?
And then she says no, and she's like, no, it's just because I'm thinking about naked hang gliding you. But it's no, she's obviously hurt.
Yeah.
You asshole.
You asshole.
CIA agent to lover theory. She gets attached.
I couldn't read the font to tell if the name of the Friends bar was Balanza or Balanza, but I don't like either of them.
Oh no, I have that. Is it not Hacienda?
It might be. Maybe I'm just illiterate.
Because I think I
Grace is dyslexic, so
had this thought the last watch too, and I wrote it down this time. Is the bar called the Hacienda? Because I'm pretty sure in the beginning where he's like, I am taking a bath on all these bands, like I think he calls it the Hacienda, or I could just be inventing this.
I fully read it as Balanza, so if it's Hacienda, I'm gonna just look. That's gonna be
I'm
really
not-
embarrassing for me.
we're gonna have to come back for episode 3 on this because I'm gonna be honest, I remember it being something other than the 3 options you have listed.
See, these are the kind of threads that keep people watching.
Well, my next note is about the Baldies. So, because the scene at the bar, we see
Junior Baldy.
the non-Polish Baldy guy working the bar in the background. He's Baldy number 2, and then Baldy 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 all appear within like 5 minutes of each other. So that's all
I
I'll say.
think it's also possible that Lucy Liu hired a bunch of bald people to
Yeah.
make Neil feel like he was going crazy.
I have always thought that this was at least like I think that the customer is genuine, but like she's hired all these people before. What's stopping her from hiring bald guys to be like, hey, I've been following this guy. And like the reason why I believe that is because everybody else that she's brought in and like gotten to do, like the detectives, the guys at the end, like everyone else is so on board to fuck with this guy.
They all
like-
hate him so much.
That makes the most sense.
Jerry
to
Lewis
me.
Baldy doesn't seem like he is enjoying the interaction at all. Neither does
I don't think
neither does Gay Steve from Wyoming.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is I think that she planted some of them.
The only bald guy she planted was Dennis. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you here.
But there's 2 like right outside his house.
Mm-hmm.
I feel there's like one painting
The-
a house and one walking down the street or something.
I believe those are plants.
Those are 4 and 5. They're not plants.
No, I'm sorry. They're
Killian
plants.
Killian planted them after
no.
being incepted with the idea
gonna-
of scary bald Polish men.
I do want to say about the movie theater. Neil's like, you need to shut up. And then immediately turns around and starts talking.
Well, he's a piece of shit.
You're no better.
I love also the only other people in the Jerry Lewis movie are like 75-year-old white women.
Who, they weren't casted, actually. They saw on the billboard outside that said Jerry Lewis Film Festival, and they just walked in.
Jerry Lewis is gonna make a salad.
I feel like the scene where he sees Violet in the bar, like helping the guitarist drink beer,
keyboardist.
feeding him beer, the keyboardist. I'm so sorry. I feel like that disproves Tulpa theory because she's interacting with someone that Killian has never met.
Okay,
This
but
is true.
here's the thing, okay? Because
God.
he's right before that scene, he's standing outside on the phone. He was supposed to meet her there, and then he's like, "Where is she?" So he's like, his mind, he's paranoid. He's like worried. He's like, "Where is she? Where could she be?" His worst thought, she's cheating on me. He goes into the bar. What does he see? Her cheating on him.
I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to go with he's a plant, man.
One
She
of us
paid
will be
him or
vindicated by
something.
time, and I'm okay with that.
And it's not, babe. It's
I
not-
just feel like she interacts with so many people that they can't all be fake.
Everybody in this movie is not real. Nobody in this movie is real.
Killian is stumbling in a white void.
Exactly. He has world-shaping powers. He is a sad, depressed, lonely god stranded on a barren earth. And instead of being alone, he has
So-
populated it with people, with friends, with enemies. This is what this movie is about, okay? I'm sorry.
I don't think so.
Can I ask a question?
Ask a question.
So you are a all-powerful god, and you can make whatever you want, and you've
I don't
created
think
this
he's
world for
aware
yourself.
of these like world-building powers.
But I'm saying these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Your girlfriend / Tulpa
Mm-hmm.
shows up at your house and says, "Hey, look at my cool car.
Uh-huh.
We can go wherever you want."
Uh-huh.
You're gonna pick Graceland?
Yes. Because
Why?
he's a loser. He doesn't.
Oh my god.
First, they're like, Vegas? He's like, no. Mexico? No. He's scared. He's paranoid. He's a nervous wreck. He's a weakling. He's a teeny tiny little loser. Of course, he's going to go
That's
Graceland.
crazy.
It's fine. You don't have to believe me because time will vindicate me.
I feel like we all need to take a deep breath.
I really like the line Killian says, "Oh my God, you're spying on me?" And Lucy Liu goes, "Duh. You were practically begging to be followed."
I love her so much. I saw on TikTok, I looked up watching the detectives on TikTok because I wanted to see what the youth of today were discussing. And I saw an edit of him in the band scene. And someone in the comments said that Cillian Murphy was in a band and that's how he met his wife. And I needed to ask the Cillian expert if that was true.
No. Part like half of it, yeah.
He was in a band, yeah.
God, dude, every single time, for the last 2 episodes, I'm like, don't call, I'm not the expert. And then you ask me a question, and I'm like, yeah. No, so he was in a band, and the one thing you need to know about Cillian Murphy is he really likes Frank Zappa. So they were like a Zappa-esque group. He met his wife because she was a waitress at a restaurant, and he like went in there to go see her. He writes about it as like a book. I don't know the context of this, but there's a book that he wrote something for, like the foreword for, and he talks about meeting his wife at this restaurant. And it's like really sweet.
Excuse me, do you have any Japanese deathmatch anime? Yes, but we can't talk about it because our boss broke up with his girlfriend.
Extremely normal things to say.
Mm-hmm.
The only time Neil smokes in this entire movie is after they have sex for the second time, and he does it just to make himself look cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate him.
I hate him.
That's what
Hammers.
I wrote.
Hammers.
Take off your stupid fucking glasses, Neil.
Hammers. The second this movie started, I had this realization. And I am like I'm an anxious thinker. I like to, I guess this isn't catastrophizing, but like,
You're a Neo.
I like to think about, yeah. I like what's the worst? And I was like, what if after 100 weeks of this, I don't like Cillian Murphy anymore?
What happens?
Because I was thinking like, oh my God, 28 years later, 2 comes out like literally in a couple days. I think it comes out on Monday. And I was sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, what happens if I go to see that movie and he shows up and I'm like, that's fucking Neil?
You get physically ill seeing him.
Because, I mean, for reference, 28 Days Later is in my Letterboxd top 4. What am I going to do?
I think you have to kill yourself.
Killing yourself.
I was thinking too, like, the Peaky Blinders movie comes out in March. We'll be deeper into that. Like, by the time Bone Temple comes out, it'll be week 3. But by the time The Immortal Man comes out, that's mid-March. That's early March.
Chris, the last 28 Years Later movie is going to come out while we're still doing this podcast.
That's crazy. We're gonna be like, do you guys know like Pope Crave?
No.
Yes.
So when Conclave came out, there was someone on Twitter who became Pop Crave, but for Conclave, and they called themselves Pope Crave, and they got invited to like the Vatican.
Oh my God.
And like they're doing when the new Pope got sanctioned in, Pope Crave was there.
Oh my God.
We're gonna be like Pope Crave.
Pope Crave.
God, I hope so.
I don't want that.
All right.
I actually, more than anything else in the
All
world,
right,
don't
Summer,
want
you got to
that.
get us back on the fucking track, okay?
I gotta
Sorry.
get us back on track.
I had to explain my fears.
Post-Sex number 2, Post-Sex 2, the sequel to Sex. Violet discusses 3 of her exes who are musicians, and I have a couple notes. 1, Rhodey Violet is such a good look. She's so cute.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
2, this was a note for myself. I wanted to listen to Hot for Teacher by Van Halen to see if the guitar solo would really take 10 years to learn or if he's just really bad at guitar. But I forgot to listen to it, and also I don't play guitar, so I don't know.
Fair enough.
But he jumped off a roof, he threw himself off the roof, and he fell. It seems to be about 2 stories. And I wanted to maybe open some discussion. Do you think it would be fatal to belly flop 2 stories onto concrete?
The way he was falling, it definitely looked like he landed on his face from 2 stories, and I think that would kill you.
He's dead.
Unless we
Cannot
live in
believe-
fucking Looney Tunes land where he becomes an accordion.
Okay, so let me
Okay,
get this straight,
Miss
Eleanor.
Floating in the
Eleanor.
void, God.
Tulpa theory.
Well, yeah, but Killian is nowhere near there.
Oh
He
my
has
God.
no relevance.
So then, how does it happen?
You said he created this whole world.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he's interacting with Violet. It comes from Violet, and sure, Violet is a part of him, right? But he has no
Sure.
control. You have to understand that none of the world around him is under his active control. It is all subconscious. That's why
I'm staring into the camera right now.
it's a subroutine, right? And he's punching the buttons in the back of his head, making shit happen. It's not like he's in the front of his mind going on his fucking death note, I want this musician to jump off a building, okay?
Girl, you gotta let it go.
No, you need to come around and realize the truth.
I don't know if we're
Alright.
going to make it through 100 episodes before you get institutionalized.
I'm gonna call the authorities on you for Tulpa theory.
I'm going to 5150 you.
This is fucked up.
And her third ex, of course, is the big bald man. But as she's talking about him, and I don't know, I have a tendency to kind of like zone out when I'm watching movies, and so I kind of miss little scenes. But I kind of took in its entirety for the first time that there's like a violin playing chase scene happening
It's
with a
so funny.
bold yellow filter over it.
Yeah, it's so fucking funny.
My next note is put those big blues away, man. And then an arrow, homophobic.
Oh yes.
I think because that must have been the Steve scene, of course. He's staring judgmentally with his big homophobic eyes.
I love the scene where he's interrogating gay Steve from Wyoming.
Do you think the Lakers are gonna take it home again this year? Yeah. No, The Lakers didn't even take it home last year.
I just have another side note. Make salad.
Jerry Lewis is gonna make a salad.
Lewis is gonna make a salad.
After this scene, Neil goes to Violet's house, and of course, she has been tied up by the big bald Polish man.
Dennis.
And Neil.
His name is Dennis.
Dennis. I'm so sorry. Again, big apology episode for me.
I hate to break it. I'm not gonna remember the side characters' names.
That was my goal today. I was going to
Yes.
write down as many names as I could pick up. And I did. Which is why I want to say, fuck everything I ever said. Glenn is my favorite character, followed by Andy.
I think Summer's been saying
Who
this.
is Glenn?
What in the Sam hell is happening here, Glenn?
Oh, yes. I'm washing myself. I'm hot.
It's so fucking funny. Summer, last week you mentioned Poland Spring being the water
It is
on the
Poland
truck.
Spring.
I think that is absolutely 100% intentional because they pan over it so slowly. She planted that shit. No.
It's all connected, Grace. It's all
It's
connected.
not. It's so
How does he know
not.
the secret knock? How does he know the secret knock?
Because she told him.
Tulpa theory, man. Tulpa theory.
How
going to
would
hit you.
she know the secret knock if she's a part of him and he didn't already know the secret knock?
Because there was no secret knock. There was no gambling ring. There was nothing until he arrived. And when he arrived, he entered the staircase. That's when it
I
appeared.
think that
This is a level of reaching.
You-
I feel like you're gonna
you
strain
hate
something.
me and my truth. They hated Jesus because he told the truth.
we talked last week about how long it was going to take us to get sick of the movie. I think that we need to start a countdown for how long it's going to take before we kill each other over Tulpa theory.
I think the countdown is rapidly reaching 0.
No more movies.
Oh my god.
No more movies. Unironically, my favorite scene in the entire movie. I don't care what anyone else says. I think that the UPS driver, Jason, is like, I want to give him a back brace.
The guy you
Like,
said when you said you weren't going to remember any background character names.
No, well, because he's like, look,
Jason
it's
is not a background
Jason.
character.
No, he's pivotal to the movie.
I'm sorry, Summer, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. But shout out to the bouncer at the secret underground gambling ring for recognizing Killian's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly costume.
He's a cowboy.
The bouncer says, "You're dressed like the guy from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly."
Oh, I'm gonna jump back a little bit.
Feel free.
Because we were talking about, in the beginning a little bit, we were talking about music. The song that he plays in the garage, we talked last week and asked if he was actually singing it.
Garage.
I do not believe that it is. Shut up.
I'm sorry.
I'm about 99% sure it's not him. It is the Eagles of Death Metal, which I don't know if you guys remember in 2015, the Eagles of Death Metal concert that was like terrorist attacked
No.
in
No.
Paris. I remember this really vividly, and I don't know why, because I don't know anything about this band. But I remember it was like a thing. There was like a bomb or a shooting, and it was the Eagles of Death Metal.
I can tell you why you knew about it.
Why?
It's, I got this theory.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. No, keep going. Keep going. I'm walking. Keep going. I'm like holding my fist behind my back. No, keep going. No, it's okay. Keep going.
It's fine. I don't want to interrupt you. You were telling a story.
No, that's it.
crucial.
That's all I got.
It's crucial background for. It's
No.
necessary that you tell the people what you were telling them about the Eagles.
No, it was just interesting to me, and I just wanted to make the connection.
Well, thank you.
That's all I got. Yep.
Summer, you need to take us home.
It's really hard to wrangle. I'm down to my final 2 pages of notes. There's one quote from Neil. He says, "You were being cagey. You were practically begging me to follow you home,"
Yep.
Weird.
which is insane.
Awful.
And I wanna get him away from her. Violet deserves better. I know we said before that they deserve each other, but I do think Violet deserves better.
I think they deserve each other. I will have to push back
'Cause,
a
like,
little bit.
I'm gonna
I think you can
abstain.
frame it as like everything that she does outside of like CIA theory, obviously. Everything she does is to like protect herself. She doesn't want to get hurt. She doesn't want him to get bored of her.
So when
And I think it's kind of sweet.
screws the lids off of the salt and pepper shaker, that's to protect her.
Yeah.
Yes. Salt is for protection.
Then we have Korean snuff
Wow,
cartoons. and
that
Japanese stuff
silence
cartoons.
really.
How do you think I fucking feel?
I was really proud of that
I
one
bomb.
too. I'm gonna take
so
a
often. I don't
lap.
want to hear it. Okay.
I'm gonna take a lap. That one hurt.
I'm so sorry. Again,
No,
today this
I mean-
episode is the Summer Says Sorry episode. That's the
Summer's
title.
apology.
Sorry, Jason. This is, I think, after he leaves his conversation with Denise and Chad, who I love, by the way. He goes home and he goes into his bedroom and the closet doors open a crack. And for a second, he sees Lucy Liu, and then he turns the light on and it's one of his cardboard cutouts, his many cardboard cutouts. And I really like that scene because in the beginning, he breaks up with Denise because she can never live up to the image of the women in movies that he glorifies.
Right,
and in that
right.
moment, he's placing Lucy Liu over the actress in his
Yeah,
mind.
yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
desiring her
That's
more
crazy.
than them.
Interesting.
Oh, that's awesome.
interesting.
Wait, oh my god, you're so right.
So he's placing her.
No, backstab. I never mind. Take it back. Take it back.
Okay. I'll shut up.
You need to go in the corner.
Kill her with hammers. Let's kill her with.
Every time Andy and Glenn say a sentence, they say each other's name in it.
Yes.
I know. I love them.
I think I have a reason for this. I think that she hired just really bad actors. And they're trying their. It's so fucking funny.
But they're firing
So funny.
real guns.
Real guns, and where do they get $20,000 from?
That's the. I had that question. Is where'd she get that money from?
I can answer that question.
No,
Oh, shut the fuck up! Shut
you
up!
can't.
Sorry. You know what? I'm taking the headphones off. I'm walking away. You guys got this, okay?
Yeah, take a lap.
You
take
guys
a lap.
got this one, okay? I'll be right
Take
back.
a lap.
On the water truck, it says there's a website, spring.com, and there's also a phone number, but it is missing an area code. So it's 950-9395, but it does not have an area code. And I'm sure that it's canon somewhere, but I could not figure out just from watching it what state this takes place in. I think it might
We've been trying to figure this
Be-
out for so long.
I think it might be Wisconsin because that's the license
What?
plate on the car at the end is a Wisconsin
That's
license
crazy
plate.
because when we've
And if she just bought the car, it would probably have a local license plate.
this is true. We've talked about this for a while. Or at least I've thought about it. Like I've wanted to know where this takes place. I think Eleanor said Chicago once.
It looks like the
I've always
Midwest.
thought it was like Midwest. I think I threw Ohio in the ring once.
Well, because Lucy Liu mentions the Cubs when they're playing basketball,
Yep.
and then Chad's shirt has
It looks
it's
like
for
Chicago.
the Indians, which is a Cleveland
Yep.
team. But then the
Or-
license plate at the end is a Wisconsin license plate.
And then well, his team uniform, they're the Red Sox apparently.
I
Against
thought they were the Mean Machines.
No. They played against the Mean Machines. Killian's team is the Red Sox.
Okay. There's also I don't know, like, AAA baseball and, like, the history of that, but there's also the Indianapolis Indians.
Could be. I like that in the scene after he robs the gambling ring, when in the morning when he interacts with Lucy Liu, he's got the money pouch stuffed down his pants.
The one big thing that I noticed fresh this time, he's got a giant Connects Ferris wheel.
Yep. I was
Yes.
What I'm assuming is his kitchen.
Yep, it's his kitchen. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, Pee Wee Herman.
He's such a man child.
He really
Awful.
is.
Awful. I can't defend it. I can't keep
A
defending
man-child
it.
who can afford running a VHS rental,
Oh, just crazy.
sponsoring a
niche.
softball team, and weekly music nights at a bar.
And I'm assuming that the video store must have events because they have that viewing space.
He had
so like,
he apparently, I mean, at the start of the movie, right at the start of the movie,
that's
he's
what I'm
like,
saying.
everybody grab a beer, and he didn't ask for money, so he's clearly bought everybody beer to watch this viewing of a commercial.
Well-
I assume he paid for.
yeah,
He's just flushing money away.
Maybe you pay to get into the event.
Maybe.
Who's to say? But you would think that they would have like flyers around the store for these events.
No,
He buys costumes for his sales.
there's no room with all the posters.
There's too many
This is true.
posters. Yeah, he picks her up and spins her around, and that's really cute. And she seems really disappointed that he's like not pissed at her because she wanted to drive him away. And she's so cute.
I really do love her. There's a line when I was kind of, or this is what I wanted to talk about earlier, when you guys were like, you're jumping to the end of the movie. And you're right.
You were.
And
You
I
were. You
understand
jumped to
error
the end
my
of the
ways.
movie, by the way, an hour ago. By the way.
Yeah. I understand the error of my ways. I get excited.
Well, we're here now, so go ahead.
They're talking and he's like, I don't want to wake up in a pile of my own blood and like find out you've taken my liver. And then they like talk a little bit more and he goes, can a person live without his liver?
What do I look like, the Surgeon General?
And it really fucking, it's like sweet, but it's like, it like tips the needle further into like, I know you in your marrow. Like,
I never want you to look at me like an old, comfortable shoe. Followed almost immediately by, maybe I am some kind of sick, twisted baby.
maybe I am some kind of sick, twisted baby. We need to Tulpa theory out the window. CIA theory gone.
Okay.
In the garbage.
Okay. You're really
What
pushing
are-
it, but I'm here. I'm here for it.
What are the connections between the baby and Cillian Murphy?
The baby is Cillian Murphy from the
Narratively?
past.
That's what I'm saying.
Emerson?
Well, I've already
travel theory.
connected
Emerson is
psychically.
baby Killian? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Time travel. Emerson is not Killian's baby.
He is
Emerson
baby
is
Killian.
baby Killian.
I'm here for that.
Time travel theory.
I think that could still fit into Tulpa theory.
No, get your own. That's your own theory.
It's like
You
the end of
can't have-
2001 Space Odyssey. It's like the end of 2000. It's like the end of 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah. That's fine. I agree. But this is my theory. You have your own theory,
Does baby
and I have time travel theory.
Wait, okay, so wait, hold on. I have to ask you a very important question.
Oh God.
So baby Emerson, baby Killian,
Yeah. Yep.
needs sunglasses or he will stare at the sun. Doesn't that take
What?
place right before Killian wears sunglasses?
Uh-huh. What did I say?
Oh
What did I
my
say?
God. The pieces are
Time
falling into
travel
place.
baby theory. Yeah, you guys get crackpot. I would say like in I want to do a tier list of our crackpot theories. I wouldn't even begin to describe polyamorous theory as crackpot theory.
That's just true.
Tulpa's like
You guys are gonna
S
come
tier.
around. You guys are gonna come around on Tulpa theory. 70 episodes from now, you're gonna be telling me about the connections to Tulpa theory.
I think in 70 episodes we're gonna forget about Tulpa theory.
There's no way. Tulpa theory is gonna define the series.
God, I hope so.
You're never gonna let me.
No, until I come up with a better theory than Tulpa theory, and I will. You think Tulpa theory is the limits of my capabilities?
It's a 90-minute romp, so it's not about your.
By the way,
it's not about your
speaking of
limits.
90-minute romps, we're 90 minutes into this recording.
Oh my God. I have one final note. It is that I wrote down the license plate of the car. It's LTLMAX Little Max.
Yeah.
And it WS is Wisconsin license plate. I don't know if the license plate might be a reference to a movie. I don't know what Little Max means.
I'll get on it.
Yeah, we'll have to come back to this.
I have a note to myself on my next watch to check other license plates for cars in the background to see if we can figure out what state this takes place in.
Do we even know where it was filmed?
No, I don't think so.
I haven't looked it up. I don't want to spoil it for
I
myself.
don't know. We'll have to talk about it next time.
I think that about wraps it up unless anyone has any other comments.
Well, I did I watched most of it on YouTube, and then I switched to an illegal piracy streaming site so that I could actually watch the credits with music. What I'm confused by is the song is cut out. The audio is cut out on YouTube. I assume for copyright reasons, but I thought it was because maybe they changed the song or... No, it's the song that you hear before the audio cuts out on YouTube is the song that continues into the section that's cut out.
Yeah.
And it does make the editing on the car a little bit better, but it's still so unhinged. The most zoomer-brained edit at the end of the movie, but that's about all I have.
I have a revelation and an embarrassing confession.
Okay.
Please speak your truth.
And I don't know if you want it now or if you want it next week.
No. Go. We'll end on it right now.
You know how we spent all that time trying to figure out the real identity of Well-Dressed Man?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What if I told you that there's a copyright in the credits that says his name directly?
Oh my god.
Does he say?
Yeah.
Does it say well-dressed man on it?
Well, no, but I think that if we had looked there, it would have been really easy to figure out that it's not Betty Page and it's not Bela Lugosi.
Okay.
So,
Well, we've yet to really talk about well-dressed man.
I've kind
wanna
of
talk
kept
about
him on the
Well-Dressed Man.
back burner.
Yeah, he'll come up
He's
when we
my
need him
favorite
most.
character in the movie.
I mentioned him a little bit during Tulpa Theory last episode, and I guess we can
Yeah.
talk about it some more in the future.
Yeah, well,
But-
I think that about wraps up episode 2. We watched Watching the Detectives.
We did it.
I'm Eleanor.
I'm Summer.
And I'm great.
And you're watching Who Watches Watching the Detectives.
Can't watch a podcast.
You can watch a podcast.
Now, this is very special to me because in the early 2000s, I was in America and I wasn't really happy with the sort of work I was doing, and I wasn't really happy with my approach to acting, and everyone was like, "Man, you gotta watch Cassavetes," and like it was kind of embarrassing that I hadn't watched it by then. So I went out and I bought this collection